what is imperative handle. But before that, let's understand what is useRef, what is forwardRef, and then we'll move on to use imperative handle. useRef is a commonly used hook in React.js. It takes an initial value as a parameter and it returns back a reference. Now, this reference can be used in two ways. First, it can be used to access the DOM. Second, it can be used to store any mutable value. By mutable value, I mean any value that can be changed in a component. Okay, so we had these instance variables in the class components, right? Similarly, we will have references in the functional components. Okay, and these references can be created by using useRef. There are two rules that you need to remember about this reference. First, the value of the reference will not change even if your component re-renders. Okay, the value of the reference will remain same even if the component re-renders. Okay, and second point, if the reference changes, if the value of the reference changes, it will not trigger a re-render of the component. Okay, so two important points that you should remember about the references. So in the previous slide, we discussed that useRef can be used in two ways. First, to access the DOM. Second, to store the mutable values. Okay. So let's understand that by this example. So in the first step, we have created the ref. We have used useRef here. The hook has returned us a ref back and we have named it as element ref. Okay. So we've created the ref in this step. Second step, we have assigned the ref. So we have assigned the ref to this div element. We have passed element ref into the ref property of this div element. Okay, now I want to access this ref. Okay, now I want to access this ref. I have to use element ref dot current. So anywhere in React, if you want to access a ref, you have to use dot current to access it. Okay, to get the current state or the current value of that particular ref. Okay, so first point was that reference can be used to access the DOM. Okay, so now we have the DOM here. Okay, so when I do console.log element.ref, it logs me the HTML div element, as you can see in the console logs. Okay, so this has been called after mounting. So as you know that use effect, when has a blank dependency array, it calls the statements after mounting. So in this case, it has triggered console.log after mounting. Okay, clear? All right. Okay, so this is working perfectly fine, but the problem arises when we pass the ref from parent component to child component. Let's have a look. So we have a parent component here and a child component here. Okay, so I created a reference using useRef and I've named it as element ref in the first step. Now this element ref I have passed to the child component as a prop. So this ref is a prop which is containing element ref value. Okay, now the same prop I'm trying to put in the div element in the ref property of the div element. Okay, so I've created a ref in the parent and I passed it to the child and I have used it in the child component. Okay, now when I try to access this element ref by using element ref dot current, I'm trying to do a console log here. It will be logged as undefined. Okay, it does not work. Okay, even React throws us some warning that it will result in undefined. And did you mean to use React.forwardRef? So in a way, it is recommending to use forwardRef to us to solve this problem. Okay, so let's understand how forwardRef works. So forwardRef is the solution to this problem. But let's understand what is forwardRef. ForwardRef is a higher order component that wraps a React component. So what is a higher order component? I've already covered in part 4 of this React interview series. If you don't know what is a higher order component, I would highly recommend you to watch part 4. Okay. So in this case, forwardRef we have used in the child component. So we've wrapped this function in a forwardRef. Okay, just like a higher order component, and we have passed the props and ref. So second parameter is important. The ref will be the second parameter to this forward ref. Okay, everything remains same. Only thing that we have changed is we have used a forward ref. Okay, so in the previous slide, this element ref dot current was giving us undefined, but this time it will give an HTML div element when we print it, as you can see. Okay, so nothing has changed. We have used forward ref instead of a normal component. Okay. So basically, forwardRef is the solution to the problem. When parent class tries to send the ref to the child component, you have to use forwardRef in React to access that ref in the parent class back. Okay. Now, what is use imperative handle and why do we use imperative handle? Let's discuss that. useImperativeHandle is a built-in React hook that accepts three arguments: the forwarded ref, the function that returns the new ref value, and the dependencies arrays. Now let's understand why it is used. So in the previous slides, we saw that when we passed a ref from parent to child, we were not able to access the DOM of the child through that ref, right? We were getting undefined. So I passed this element ref from parent to child, but when I was trying to access it, when I was trying to log this element ref dot current, I was getting undefined. So I was not able to access the DOM of the child element through this ref. Okay, this was resolved by using forward ref. So I wrapped the child component through forward ref, and then when I printed the reference that I passed, it was containing the DOM element of this particular child component. Now if I want to attach something new or something, some functions or some logic to this ref that we are passing back to the parent, right, we have to use imperative handle for that. So let's understand use imperative by this example. So in this example, we have a main component which has three child components: focusable input, two buttons, focus input and blur input. Okay, so this focusable input is a forwarded ref. Okay, so we are creating a ref in the main component and we are passing that ref to focusable input, and the second argument of this forwarded ref would be the ref that we are passing in this focusable input. Okay, so as we discussed in the previous slide, forward ref takes the ref as a second argument. Okay, now this ref is used as the first argument in the use imperative handle hook. Okay, so we have passed this ref as the first argument to use imperative hook. Second argument of the use imperative handle would be the forwarded ref value. Okay, so it will be the updated forwarded ref value. Okay, so we do some updations in the forwarded ref and return back that forwarded ref to the parent component. So in this case, we are attaching two functions to the forwarded ref: focus and blur. Okay, so when we do focus, we are calling the dot focus of the element, and when we are doing blur, we are calling the dot blur of that particular component. Okay, so in this case, when on button click of focus input, we are calling the focus function. In the focus function, what we are doing methods ref dot current. So this is how we access the reference that is created by useRef, and we are calling dot focus. So this dot focus will trigger this dot focus. Okay, and the focusable input will be focused here. Okay, in this case, when we press focus input, it will call the focus method. Focus method will call the focus method of the attached ref, which in turn will call this focus, and it will focus the focusable input. Okay, so this is how use imperative handle will work. So use imperative handle, we have attached two new functionality to this forwarded ref. Okay, so we are not returning just the forwarded ref value, we are also updating the forwarded ref value with some modifications and returning it back. Okay, so for that case, we use imperative handle. Same thing happens with the blur. We have attached blur function with the forwarded ref. Okay, so now when we click on the blur input, it will call the blur function on click. Okay, and this blur function, what it is doing, it is calling the blur function of the reference that was created through useRef. Okay, and we have already attached this blur function here, right? So when we call this blur function, it will trigger this thing, which is it will blur the input which we have here, focusable input. It will blur it. Okay, so this is how a use imperative handle works. Guys, if you like the video, please like, share, and comment. And also, please do subscribe to our channel. We are Techies. Thank you.